and he is with SpaceSplit. And so remember, if you're out in the audience, we want to make sure that you hold that mic right next to your mouth so people can hear the question. So it's live streaming really well. We'd like to say hi to Canvas, and Rolando comes from Canvas and Starter Studios, so really big applause for that. Thank you, Melissa, for sending him over. The other thing is, again, we want to say thanks again to Barney's, to Rollins for giving us the space, to Barney's for giving us the coffee, to all of the organizers and the volunteers today. Thank you so very much. So you're up.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rolando Galeana, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of SpaceSplit. And I'm really, really excited about what you're going to see right now on these next coming slides. Because on this stage, this is the very first time we're going to introduce to you a revolutionary new product that is first to market. And our team of 6 rebels have been working hard, coding, developing, designing what you're going to find out now. But before we go into that, I want to share a little quick story. And the way this came to be was I had a friend who's now one of the co-founders of SpaceSplit, who was moving from Miami to Orlando. And he had tons of stuff to store. He was dividing it up. And he asked if I could store some of his items. So sure, I said, I'll store it, no problem. That's what friends do, right? And so it was there for a month. 1 month became 2 months. 2 months became 3 months. And around month 4, I finally got to him and I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to start charging you for this. And so this is the problem that SpaceSplit is looking to solve. Clutter sucks. That's a fact. And as you can see, once this happened, once we realized that there is a problem, what we decided to do was hit the street and start talking to people. Find out what is a solution to this problem. We all are very aware of the self-storage industry. We all know, and we've had that experience, that cold, isolated, prison-like experience of storing our things in a public storage facility. And so we started to realize that the system could use some tweaking. It could use a little modern-day technology. And so, if we could advance to the next slide. This was the feedback that we got as we started talking to people. Just random people on the street. First thing they said was, the business model is outdated. Well, that was our assumption. But it was validated by them. But definitely, they were paying too much. Heard it time and time again. And that they felt they were being underserved. And so, how did we solve that problem? So if you could advance to the next slide. We decided to come up with SpaceSplit. Storage starting at $1. If you could advance to the next slide. SpaceSplit is a web and mobile platform for space sharing, connecting people who have space, we call those our hosts, and would like to make some extra money with people who are in need of space, guests, to store their valuables. Let me put it simple. We are the Airbnb of self-storage. Next slide, please. So, many of you are very aware. On every corner, there is what? A storage facility, right? 40 years. It's been the fastest growing real estate, commercial real estate industry for the past 40 years. Has not slowed down. So there's market validation. 52,500 facilities across the United States. And this is taken directly from the Self-Storage Association's very own research and studies that they've conducted. We can advance to the next slide. Some additional facts. Okay, so in revenue, the self-storage industry is generating $27.2 billion. I repeat, $1 billion in revenue. 1 out of 10 people have had an experience with the storage facility, or are currently actively storing. And in addition to this, we dug a little deeper, did a Google AdWords search just on the term self-storage, and there is 1.4 million people doing that search monthly. That doesn't include storage near me, that doesn't include storage, that doesn't include any of those other keywords, just self-storage. It's a huge market validation, huge market validation. And in addition to that, this is something that what we will capitalize on is the fact that 54.2 of those searches are generated from mobile devices. We can advance to the next slide. So how is it that, that we're going to make money, right, as a company? How are we going to provide this service to our customers? Well, very simple process and very affordable process. We are going to charge a 15% commission per transaction. It's as easy as it gets. Now, there are some premium features to our hosts who want to become power hosts that are taking their business seriously. And for that, there is a monthly premium membership of $10 a month. There's some added features that you could see listed there. Featured listing, direct access to SpaceSplit's moving and hosting line with expert advice. These are some additional features with our premium host platform. So how are we going to get market adoption? How are we going to get the word out? Well, quite simply, we have several events, tech events happening throughout the year. We're going to target as many tech events. There is one happening in October next month in New York. Our team, we're going to head over there and we're going to pitch our idea into our company into a pitch contest, so get national exposure. Of course, the Orlando community is going to be huge and central to our success. We are in Starter Studio. They are a key partner for us right now. And hosts are going to be our strategic partners. And of course, marketing. Marketing is going to be huge for us, internet and inbound marketing. Good advance. This is kind of the dynamic right now of what's happening as far as in this industry. There are some competitors in this space. There is another peer-to-peer storage facility out of Silicon Valley, but our model is completely different than theirs, and that's where we have a key advantage. If you could advance, and this is our competitive advantage. We will create a subculture that promotes service and community. Hosts will make money through maximizing their available space, and guests will save money by only paying on a per-item basis, with rates starting as low as $1 a box. Furthermore, we will establish member trust by offering the following: verified IDs, insurance protection, secure cashless payment processing, our SpaceSplit guarantee, printable seals, user reviews, and best-in-class customer support. And of course, user experience and user interface is core at the brand of SpaceSplit. That's the next slide. So this is just some mock-ups of the experience, as you can see. Gorgeous design, simple. That's the key, simple. We'll go to the next slide. And this is the team of coding wizards. I'm blessed that I work with a great team, and they're working hard every day to ensure that we get this product out to market as quickly and as fast as possible. Next slide. And that's it. You can reach out to us through Twitter, Facebook, and our site as of this morning is up, and we are accepting hosts. So you can go in and you can put an initial interest as a host on our site. Thank you.
Love the idea, by the way. A couple initial problems. So you said this is the first time you guys presented this, and today is the first day your site is up, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Have you tested this yet? So you have no hosts, no nothing.
Correct. Our initial hosts will be our beta testers.
Oh, okay.
So we have not tested the product. The product is actually not available for use. Let me just get that clear. It's under development. But our go-to-market strategy is to partner with hosts, and part of that process is onboard them and really get them to become our key advocates in this business.
Okay, so my question is the problem of I want to store my stuff at somebody else's house because it's cheaper or property or wherever I'm storing it. The reason why I particularly would store it at U-Store or U-Haul or Noah's Ark or wherever is because it's locked up, it's safe, Nobody's going to take it. Nobody's going to steal it. It's a big company, so they can afford liability insurance for that. But I'm storing it at like homeboy's, basement or something. So what happens if my stuff gets damaged? What happens if it's stolen? What happens if their house burns down? And now my stuff was there. Does that kind of make sense? So what's your game plan on conquering it?
So absolutely, we strongly encourage, first and foremost, that on the host and on the guest side, that you reach out and, to your renter's policy, your homeowner's policy. 1. 2, we're in talks with an insurance company on an umbrella policy to cover and protect under those circumstances. So to address your question.
Love the Airbnb concept applied to storage, having moved across the world many times.
Awesome thinking.
And have left my stuff at somebody's house for maybe a year or something. But that aside, let's say that I am a prepper, and amongst all the things that I want to store are, 40 boxes of ammunition. But you don't know what's in those containers that I'm putting in your house. Are you guys prepared to cover those types of things? I know that you have said you're looking into those insurance things. Have you written disclaimers into your EULAs? Where are you doing the things you can to try to prevent that?
Absolutely, we actually do have a prohibited list of items. So definitely ammunition, anything like that. We also even would discourage collectibles, anything of a value of $10,000 or more. Definitely not. And that's really the key thing is it is an element of trust. However, hosts will be able to see what contents is in the box, and if they choose to. That's more of something arranged between host and guest, because there is going to be a communication platform on the back end. Once a guest books or selects a host to host their items, then of course the communication process begins.
Okay, and the follow-up with that, and I want to make sure I understand this correctly. I have a spare room in my house, and it's not doing anything. It's an office, but I'm never in there. And so I can rent that out to as many people as I can stuff in there.
Absolutely. You want to maximize whatever nook and cranny you have, be it an attic, a basement, and those things are going to be on your profile. You're going to indicate what type of space. There's going to be images of the type of space, so the person, more than likely, if it's an attic space, it's something that weather doesn't really impact. But your outdoor shed, your garage, any space. Now, the slides don't portray this, but parking space, RV parking, boat parking, you have available space, you can rent it out.
Hi, good morning. Over here. Hi. Hi. So, 2 questions. One is, who makes the storage decision in the family, a man or a woman?
In terms of what the demographic
I'm
is?
moving. See, I think I know the answer, but I'm actually setting him up. So just so you know, I know, but he has to say it. So, so my husband and I are moving, right? And I'm clear wherever we're going, it's not going to be big enough to hold all my stuff. Who makes that storage decision, a man or a woman?
I would hope, and it's mutually decided. But from between
You must be a millennial.
However,
Sorry.
from a marketing standpoint, the woman.
Yeah. So that was to my point. So I noticed a lack of women on your team, right? If your target audience is women, where are you going to find that input of the decision makers such that your marketing and your message speaks to us?
Absolutely. Did it speak to you so far? Just curious. Now, every step along the way, and this is something that actually being in the accelerator program at Starter Studio has been phenomenal about, is getting validation, customer feedback, customer validation. So to answer that question, we are a team of 6 men, which won't remain that way once we get funding and we can employ. however, the key thing is that yes, every step along the way, we're getting validation, we're getting feedback, and until we get that, we proceed and move forward.
Hi. So I just have one question, really. Even if you got the insurance and everything to ensure that people's stuff is safe, what about when it comes to retrieving their items at a particular time? Let's say I have a guitar in storage and I want to play it. That person's not home, or he's on a date night at his house. Is there any sort of set policy where you can get it, or is it all based on the communication between the storage and the store?
So, in the process of checking out, you're looking at the profile. One of the final screens is you look at the profile, the host profile. The host profile has a description, and in the description, it's going to outline the access, the times that are available. We're going to encourage, for a selling point, that hosts have some flexibility with that, because if in the end it's their business, right? They want their business to succeed. So what they would need to do is list, let's just say Sunday from 9 to 5 is when the space is accessible. So the person would select that specifically and exclusively. If not, they would swipe to the left, pick the next host that has more available, more flexibility, more available time. But yes, on the back end, the communication will be very central too. If it's off hours, person might say, hey, I need to access it pretty urgently. Can I go in Tuesday night, Tuesday afternoon? And if the host is there and is comfortable with that, then they can make that arrangement outside of what they've put on their profile.
How are you vetting the customer and the host? And the reason why I say this would be a great space for drug dealers to stash their stash. to be that direct, because I have extra warehouse space, so this would be a great thing for us. But my concern is that how do I know the customer is legit? And you say we can open the boxes and things like that and look inside, but if someone's not ethical.
So, excellent question. We do ID verification. So if there is criminal history, if there is anything on that person, guest or host, they will not be allowed on our platform. 1. 2, their customer reviews on the host and the guest side, much like what Airbnb does. So user ratings, huge. If a person, for whatever reason, was untrustworthy, unreliable, that goes in to their profile. So those are 2 measures to address that. I think definitely we will, by doing the ID verification, we'll be able to weed out a lot of that.
Well, the first question I had, I think, has been answered. That has to do with the security of this, the insurability of this. The other thing that comes to mind is the standpoint of it seems like there would be some degree, a pretty strong degree of IRS compliance where you have to report this income and you have to reporting. What's involved with that for you as far as compliance for the IRS?
We are, quite frankly, we are a platform. We're a broker making a connection between a host and a guest. We will track all that, provide a 1099 to hosts.
Okay.
So they are, in essence, responsible for reporting their income taxes as a self-employed person.
So you assume no liability, and
we assume no liability.
That's in your terms and conditions. Okay.
And that's it, outlined in our terms and conditions, absolutely. So our terms and conditions will outline essentially all the legalese.
Okay. Very
But
good. Thank you.
Yeah, they are entrepreneurs. They are business owners, and we're providing the platform, the marketing arm, the resources for them.
So far, so good, man. Keeping with it. All right. So, market validation, financial questions. Okay. One, I'm a host. I have a 10 by 10 space that's available. What can be my estimated revenue? Number one. Number two, I am interested in supporting Split Space because I'm
Split.
sure you're heading into financial rounds. What is your projected revenue, and what is your time frame to get to profitability?
Absolutely. So we've run some models. Okay. And to address the first question, how much can a host earn? Okay. Now, the first thing is probably the best way to answer this is just think of what it's in it for the host. Okay. You have your car parked in your garage, right? You have a two-car garage. Why not pull the vehicle out, park it in the driveway, and that space now becomes available to rent, right? Based on the models that we've calculated, they're not precise and exact, but that will pay a car payment on that vehicle. So I'm not going to give exact numbers, but we're looking between $150, $200 for that space. So that's the value prop right there, is that you can make a car payment with that extra space that you have. You could, pay your phone bill. You can. That's the better way of answering it. What's in it for the host? So now the second part is on the revenue. We are actually in the process of acquiring funding. So we are in that process. I just want to make that known. We run some models. Our target run rate right now is $2 million. Okay, so we're looking at $2 million as our target run rate. Profitable after the second year. So that's probably prior to that, but that's ballpark what we're looking at.
Okay, I'll give you two really quick extreme things that I see on two different ends from an income source standpoint. One is I'm a 16-year-old kid and said, man, I can go to U-Haul and get myself a whole place for $1 for the first month, $39 for each month after. How many boxes can I fit in there? Shoo! That's one extreme. The other extreme is I'm actually the self-storage facility and goes, what am I doing wasting my time with these turkeys? $1 a box, that's a lot of money for an 8 by 10 that's 12 foot high.
The $1 a box, keep in mind, is a small box. We're not talking about yeah, correct. So and then the other items have different price points. So you have a bicycle that needs to be stored, different price point. You have a washer that needs to be stored. That's a different price point.
That's what I was trying to pull out of you because I'm going, $1 a box, this isn't a pricing schedule. So.
Yeah, no, it's on a per item basis. And that's our key differentiator. We're not trying to compete on the square foot space against U-Haul, public storage. We can't compete in that space. Because, of course, that's talking about a whole room being stored, right? We're talking on a per item basis. Person has a few boxes for Christmas that they only touch once a year, and they need access once a year. Store those items at $1 a box. And then it could be larger items. Some people will have larger items, and so it changes the dynamic of what the price would be. Now, small box is $1 a box, and incrementally gets increases from there.
Hey, all right. So I just kind of had like two quick little questions. Well, one, you're not providing the boxes, correct?
No.
All right. So you have like what you consider the box that you charge $1 for, like the dimensions and everything. Okay. And then now, what if someone all of a sudden needs to move, or and you have to get all your stuff out? And what if you can't do that? What if you're out of town, or you're, whatever the case is? You're just not available. You don't have the means to do it. What happens with all your stuff?
So you're saying if it's left for an extended period and
Right, like say somebody like the host. Yes, say the host. All of a sudden, emergency happens. They have to leave whatever place that they're living in, and your stuff is stored there. And they contact you and they tell you you need to get this stuff out. and say you're out of town, or say you just don't have the means to do it. You need a truck. It's a washer, for instance, or something. And you can't move it. What happens?
Well, we are partnering with additional companies to solve that problem. So if there is a need to move an item, and to also answer the other question, which would come along with that: what if a person doesn't pay, abandons their stuff, their items? That's not the host's responsibility to try to remove the items or do any of that. So it's all through the partnerships that we create. So we would be able to have a moving company grab the items in advance, and where we warehouse them on our cost, because of course that would be a key problem if you have an unhappy guest. Number one thing here is customer service, ensuring that the customer is happy.
This is our last question. I'm playing devil's advocate today. What happens if the stuff that is stored causes damage to the host? Like they store a couch and you get bed bugs, or there's liquid and it opens up and ruins your carpet or your hardwood floors.
So for that's what the insurance protection is for. So to address that, so it, on the host and the guest side, it covers. That's the details are being worked out right now, but because we're in talks with an insurance company to iron out the details. It's such a new model. Nothing like this has been done, so there's a lot to work through in that space. However, we're working aggressively to address that.
All right. Thank you for all of your great questions.